Now, Pry is going to go for a re-stealth, hanging out on the lower side, trying to get it. He will manage to get that. So maybe they can get another sick opener. But Doomson doing a great job, keeping his team topped off. He's going to go into cat form before getting feared. That's really good. That means he's not going to be able to get polymorphed out of it. Mokrin caught inside of a Shadow Priest Sans right there. Vile taking a little bit of damage. He's inside of that kidney, inside of that cheek. There's going to be a cycle going out onto Fuin. He doesn't have a trinket available. Vile taking a lot of damage out to less than half health right here. Pry has a full energy bar, so once he's able to connect, he's going to do a lot more as well. Mokrin did get silenced right there. A lot of pressure going out. Doomson caught inside of a deep freeze. The Ring of Frost does go out. Will it manage to catch Doomson? It doesn't look like it is. So a little bit of a mistake right there. Fried Kidde got caught inside of a silence. Vile trying to put out some pressure. He only has dots up on, actually they've all expired at this point, so that's really rough. He needs to get some more pressure going. This is kind of the game we're seeing a lot.
Oh, here's the Dance Cloak though coming out. They're going to go aggressive here onto Fried Kidde. Full Sheep onto Fu, and I think this is going to be a block for sure. There's the cheap shot. It has to be a block. In it comes. The Sheep is followed up though. Do they have any more CC here for Fuin? Let's see if Doomson can get in there. Maybe get a clone, get aggressive a little bit. It looks like they are content though now, having forced that block. They're not going to do anything just yet. The Shadow Blades was used earlier by Pry. Dance and Cloak used there aggressively as well, so it may just be they want to reset, wait for that Dance, wait for that Cloak to come back up. There's the silence on a Mokrin though, going to be trinketed immediately. He wants to get out of there as Doomson put into the deep freeze. Vile going to be CS. Fried Kidde in some trouble, still on the hypo. Full Sheep out onto Fuin. It's going to be emptied, I do believe. Nicely played there by Vile, but Fried Kidde still in trouble as the clone comes out onto Fuin. Does he have another block available? Is he going to use it? 170k HP right now. Blind is now available for Pry right in time with that trinket, so will he be throwing the blind out? Doesn't look like it just yet. Mokrin taking some damage here as well. Sheep over onto Vile. Fuin still sitting free. He's not CC'd just yet, but the Full Sheep does come in. This could force a trinket or a block here from Fried Kidde. It's got to be one or the other, I do believe. Fried Kidde is trying to get out of there. He's down dangerously low though, 50k HP. The block has to come out.
Wow, it's so rough for him, man. He's not able to do anything with this rogue sticking to him. Blind goes out into Fuin. It gets trinketed instantly. Mokrin gets put into a silence. He's out of it now. Pry caught inside of a full cyclone. So now they need to just regroup. All blocks are down for Fried Kidde. The trinket is down for Fuin. It just takes one nice setup and they can do it. He did get that Fairy Fire dispelled off of him. Nice job by Doomson. He's going to get the re-stealth. This is it right here. Fried Kidde gets open on. There's a Garrote. Can he get a nice kidney shot out of it? There's the Tricks of the Trade going up for extra burst. They're opening up onto Vile though.
Fear though from Vile. Nicely played there. Maybe they can try to turn things around here as he is looking to do some damage onto Pry. The burst coming out. Deep Freeze comes in. The Cloak is forced. Trinket as well. Massive damage coming in there on Pry as the Shadow Fiend was even used. And they are mixing it up. They're pressuring the Rogue with the Cloak already forced. They could decide to go back to him. Vile though, the target for now, he's going to be Sheep. He is dotted up. It will break. Fuin into Deep Freeze. Looks like it is a DR'd there, but Vile going to be caught into the kidney shot. Still taking a lot of damage. Clone on a Fried Kidde. I think this is going to have to be dispersed. A heal does come landing, but will it be enough? He's down to 100k. He may have to use it. He's still holding on to it. Fuin into the Full Sheep now though. CS over on a Fried Kidde. MD coming out. He is able to land it. Well played there by Vile, holding on to that cooldown when it definitely looked like it was going to have to be used.
Yeah, Cyclone onto Vile at the same time as his healer was inside of a poly. I don't know if I really like that play. Kind of just lets the CC DR, and then it's just going to get topped off. A Deep Freeze onto Fuin though, and a cheap shot onto Vile. Vile taking a lot of damage. He's behind the pillar, away from line of sight of his Druid. He's in a lot of trouble actually. He may go down. He did have to use his Disperse. So now no Ice Blocks available, no Trinkets available, no Disperse available. Yep. Vile is the only one with a Trinket on the Shatterplate team. They need to get some reverse pressure going or they are just going to end up dying. Garrote Silence into a Rupture. Fried Kidde caught inside of a full Cyclone. How is Fuinyo doing? Is he going to be able to pick his team up? He casts a Cyclone. He got it off onto Pry. Pry not able to do any damage. Fried Kidde caught inside of a full poly. He's out of it now. Regrowth being cast. They're just trying to pick up Vile. They feel like he's going to be the target. They're just keeping full hots on him. But this is, they're really just waiting out until our RMD team just has the cooldowns to burst them down.
And look at the cooldowns. Cloak is going to be used. So is Dance. The blind is available as well. Deep Freeze onto Fuin. This is the cooldowns that they were looking for, and they do have them now. There's the Ice Block used on that Sheep from Fuin. He's going to be roared up though. Clone comes in. Blind still available from Pry, but he's feared off on the end of that Dance. The Cloak and Dance were used there. Remember how much damage they put into him last time. Do you think they could get that set up once more? He won't have the Cloak available if they're able to do it. Mokrin going to get CS though. Doomson without a trinket. Pry almost has his back up. He's looking for this opener. The Tricks of the Trade going to be thrown out there onto Mokrin, and here comes the cheap shot onto Vile. Sheep over onto Fuin. It was a blind overlap as well though. He's going to be MCS on his trinket. It may not matter. He's going to go down as the smoke bomb comes in, and Fuin unable to pick Vile back up. He had no disperse. No more options left and that is going to be that. Milk Trup are going to take the series. It's going to be a 3-1 score, and they are moving one step closer to getting that BlizzCon invite.
So incredible. Wow. They did a fantastic job that game. Really nice job. They always just get the right cooldowns at the right time their burst so well. I'm just so impressed by their RMD. You know, they had a rough day one, but today they're really bringing it. They showed up.
Yeah, they definitely did. Now they are one series away from that final ticket to BlizzCon. You know, fantastic stuff. You can see the players shaking hands there. Good sports all around, smiles on their faces. You know, they can walk away with their heads held high. Transcend the regionals.
Sure.
You know, definitely played a solid series. They were outmatched in this one, but some great players in their own right.
Yeah, that was really nicely done.
And it does look like we do have Rachel now ready with an interview, so we can check that out.
Well, you guys showed us before the match started, and then we get to see it up close here. The excellent sportsmanship, the wonderful relationships between these two teams here. But you guys, Milk Trup, are one step closer on the road to BlizzCon. I'm sorry, I'm going to take that, guys. That was a pretty good one. So have you guys been to BlizzCon before? Has anyone on your team been?
No, but it's my first offline event, LAN party. And Doomson and Prey, they were playing other games before on stages, like Prey when played FIFA on quite high rating, and was some LAN events as well, and also took like first and second place already, but for me it's the first ever.
First time playing on stage, do you feel like that improves your play, or does that make you a little nervous?
It's a different play style, to be honest. Like when we play back at home, we can like think in the future. We stay back and we're like, okay, we're gonna this now and get this done afterwards. And here's like so much noise in the background, and you just like play on time. You're like, okay, we need to go Shadow right now. What do we have on healer? It's different. It's a lot different.
Now, Shadow Priest versus Subtlety Rogue, that's the biggest difference between your two compositions here. What do you guys feel like they were able to do to you that you weren't expecting?
I don't know, they just pump up the enormous pressure, and it's really hard, especially when we don't have all the info like trinkets and cooldowns, and just a tough matchup.
It was a tough matchup, but it was well played by both you guys. I'm going to let you shake hands one more time. Now I have to ask you one more question. You're going up against the winner of BP versus Playing with Fire. Who would you rather face?
To be honest, we would rather face Fire Godcom, since we just faced the Frost Godcom now and we are kind of into it. And yeah, I think like Fire Godcom versus RMB is better for the matchup. So yeah, we want to face them.
You want to face them? Well, we'll see how that all turns out. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we have BP versus Playing with Fire.
I believe it! You and your mage deck are unstoppable!
Killer bees kill people, kill horses. They will attack anything that moves, anything that makes noise, snares. They don't care what they sting. They will kill anything.
together as the ultimate killing machine, made up of lancets that inject a venomous toxin into their victims. These frightening swarms are the result of an experiment gone wrong, a deadly mistake.
I'm not holding back for anyone. I've been holding up forever, waiting for the rain to come. Who am I to just surrender? I'm not holding back for anyone. I've been holding up forever, waiting for the rain to come. Who am I to just surrender? I'm not holding back for anyone.
Take this moment and get my fix. I gotta wait. My patience ain't that strong, maybe I'll keep this all night long, we'll see. Just don't take life too seriously, let the feeling come. Just wait for it, let the feeling come. Don't you let it burn, feel it all night long. Just wait for it, let the feeling come. Don't you let it burn, feel it all night long. Let the feeling come.
This could be it. He's trying to get out of there. Londonberg's coming in. Shadow Fury. This is going to be it. 3K. He's going to go down. Tsunaki. That could have meant the kill if they had it, but unfortunately they do not. But the Fury comes out. It doesn't matter. It's over. The shield won't come out. Will be enough. A 50k HP there briefly. We see the Ring of Frost on Soda. Talbot taking a lot of damage as well. They're trying to switch it around, but they need more CC. There's a disorient on Soda. Can they get anything? Pulling him off there as well, but now over onto Channel. The orb is out. He's taking a lot of damage. He could go down. He ports out just in time.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the World of Warcraft Arena Tournament here in Europe, and we are on the road to BlizzCon. Two teams have already received their invitations to BlizzCon. That's Bleach Bones and BB. Now we're about to see a match between Playing with Fire and BP. So help me welcome to the stage, Playing with Fire. And their opponents, BP. Minpoke, sad story. You guys are here in the Globen on the main stage. World of Warcraft hasn't had regionals in a while, but we brought them back this year. How do you guys feel about that?
We're super excited to be here. It's going to be lots of fun.
How about you guys?
I think it's cool to be here. Like, I've always wanted to be here since I was a little boy, and
Since you were a little boy, you've wanted to be on this stage. Have you had an opportunity to play in front of a crowd, to play on LAN like this before?
Nah, I wasn't that good back in the day, and then this expansion, I think I got a lot better, and I found really good partners to play with, and I got here.
Sad stories, feeling confident. Are you guys ready to play on stage? Is this going to affect your play in any way?
Of course, we were born ready.
Born ready, that's what I like to hear. Well, gentlemen, is there anything you want to say to each other before we start these matches?
Good luck.
I wish the other team good luck as well.
Very kind of you both. Why don't you shake hands? And let's get these matches underway. Azael, Conrad, take it away.
What is up, guys? Thank you, Rachel. And we are here, guys. We're in Sweden.
You know, I liked it the first time when they were all friendly and shaking hands.
Yep.
Now I want to see some punches being thrown. Instead of good luck, I want to hear good luck. You're going to need it. You know?
Yeah.
I want some blood.
Some trash talk. Maybe we'll get
Not
that later
actual
on.
blood.
I think there's actually if Minpoike's team goes on, I think that there's some rivalry.
Oh.
There's some rivalry in the next matchup.
Oh,
so,
drama?
So
I
maybe
love
we'll get
drama.
some trash talk in
Yeah?
that series. But anyway, guys, we're here. We are at Dreamhack Stockholm, and we are on the road to BlizzCon, and this is what the teams are competing for, guys. This awesome trophy, as well as the tickets to BlizzCon, the one more invite up for grabs for these teams, and they all really, really want it. We're going to see if they're going to be able to go home with that. And, I mean, if you lose here, you're done. If you win, you have that chance to win in that invite. I mean, there's only one more round after this. You know, there's only 2 more series left in the entire tournament.
Yeah.
So every game is so important for these 2 teams.
Yes. So in other words, guys, whoever wins this will go on to compete in one more match to see who gets the tickets. The team who loses this is out forever.
Yep.
Going home with nothing but great memories, friendships.
So they're going home with lots. We're all winners here.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know,
But
talking about these 2 teams, you know, playing with fire. You know, I talked about them earlier a little bit, and so did you. And you know, playing with fire, we talked to Sad Story. He said that he was worried about the RMD if they had to fight them. You know, the RMD now has gone in and moved ahead. Minpoike, I know their team is pretty worried about this fire play team, about this shatter play with the fire mage team playing with fire. So, I mean, do you think that they're going to be able to overcome that, or do you think that it's going to be a little bit ugly?
You know, in the past 48 hours, and by 48 I mean 24 plus a few.
Yeah.
I think we're actually seeing not so much people like getting over the fact that they're scared of the team. I think it's more they have to get over the land jitters.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
it's pretty uncommon for people to miss some of these really important things that they're missing and not do a lot of these important things that they're not doing. But it's like you're really nervous. You're playing on land. There's a live audience. There's a lot of people. It's really scary. The lights are on you. You're not at home. Maybe you don't have your shoes off or something. I know a few people like to do that, or maybe you like playing with...
You can still do that on land, man.
Maybe some people like playing with like one leg on the desk and one leg like they're sitting on, but they don't want to look weird or something.
Sometimes the thing is, it's like people get too caught up in what they think they should be doing instead of, it's like you really have to practice how you play. So it's like, if you play, with your, like when we go to LANs and stuff, like I would always take my shoes off and I'd be listening to music, and like, like at first when I first got to LANs, I was like, okay, I got to be more serious. Like I gotta have like all the games sound really loud and make sure I hear everything and do all this stuff. But like that's not how I play at home, right?
Play like that.
And like I just don't like playing with the game sound. I always just like listening to music. I mute all the game sounds and stuff, and that's always how I've played. And so when I realized that it's much better to just be comfortable, feel like you feel at home. So you want to make it as close to that as possible, whether that's playing with no shoes on and listening to music or whatever it is. So players, the more games they get in, the more comfortable they get, and the closer they get to how well they're playing online. So it's definitely exciting, and you can see the quality of games increasing as we do go deeper and deeper into the tournament. But guys, we are ready now to go into game number 1 here. It's going to be in a grand arena as always, and it should be a good one. Playing with fire, this will be a pretty big upset, I think, in the, at least from pre-tournament predictions. If they do win here, everyone thought that Minpoike's team, Blood X Zipa and Minpoike would be moving on to BlizzCon. That was one of the teams that everyone thought for sure would get one of the invites. But now, I mean, this is a team that they were pretty scared of, and they have to fight them not to move on in the winners bracket. They're already in the losers bracket. If they lose here, they go home.
Yes. That's a great point. I really thought that Minpoike's team was going to go maybe dropping a round, maybe 2.
Yeah, you talked about not even losing a map at one point.
Yeah, and look at them now. They're not even playing the Warrior Thundercleave comp that I thought they would be running. They're playing with the Warlock. They're running that LSD comp with the Elemental Shaman.
Yeah.
And I think that's a pretty wise choice. Right now you just see our Shaman, Zipai. He's standing in the middle of the map just trying to get some procs up. Our Warlock just trying to get some of his dots up. He's going to get his Ani's trinket to proc, and now he's going to be popping his Demon Soul, trying to do as much damage as he can.
Here's the Frost Shot coming out, though. They tried to time it out of that clone. I think he actually accidentally Frost Shot into the clone, but he is going to pop Alter Time here, trying to get some damage out with the Pyros. And he is going to be able to do quite a bit of damage here to Zeepai. BloodX is going to be put into the bash out of that trinket, and taking a little bit of damage himself. And this is actually a matchup, you know, I got to see them play on stream before, and playing with Fire was the team that did come out victorious, but at the same time, BloodX spreading those dots around here. Very large amounts of damage coming out onto Sad Story right now. Rin trying his best to heal everyone up, throwing out those Dispels when necessary. He's going to drop the Tranquility right now. I like the choice, honestly. It's going to help you stabilize through those early Demon Souls and through the Trinket procs, and it's putting him in a pretty good position. He's going to drop the Savage Roar there, Stampeding Roar rather, and Zeepai going to be sheeped up. He does have a clone coming onto him as well. Quite a bit of CC being focused onto him, but really it's all about the setup. They're just waiting for the deep, and they're waiting for that big burst to come in, and now it's going to be the time as they do go onto Zeepai. Silence onto Minpoike. The Pyros coming out onto Zeepai, but not as much damage as you might expect coming in just yet.
Yeah, you know, if you're just going to be playing this, let's have our team on one half.
Oh,
your
here's
team
the
on the other
Ascendants,
half.
though.
I really feel like this is going to favor the LSD because the dots are going to take down, and eventually our Elemental Shaman is going to have a lot of procs. You know, it's not like Minpoike is struggling to keep his team up. His mana is completely fine. It's actually doing better than Rin's. So I think right now it's favoring our LSD.
I see what you're saying, but at the same time, you know, you can only give a Fire Shadow Priest team so many chances to one-shot you. Eventually, you know, the stars are going to kind of align. They get enough procs, enough crits, and you can just get absolutely erased. So, you know, even though they are going to have constant pressure going out throughout the game, I mean, Rind is sitting down for a drink right now. We talked about the mana advantage. That's no longer going to be the case. He's now in the lead. He's going to actually get almost back to full mana there. And I think he's going to have the ability to do that pretty much at will, unless this team really wants to get aggressive and commit to pushing in.
Yeah, you know, I actually really like that he went for that mana early. Well, there weren't that many dots up, because if you let it get too late, you know, maybe you don't need 200,000 mana right now. But to just have that extra little buffer room, I think it's really good. So I'm a big fan of that.
It's very intelligent, and it's also one of those things where people wait. They're not looking for it when you're high on mana. But anyway, the Deep Freeze does come in on Zeepai. MCS to follow that up. He's going to gate out of there as Minpoike gets put into the fear. A lot of damage here. Silence following up onto Minpoike. Healing Tide going to have to be dropped there by Zeepai. The clone comes in onto Minpoike there from Rin. Rin going to be feared up. Now it's swapped over to Sad Story there by BloodX, who's doing a good job with the Demon Soul, spreading the dots out onto everyone. Rin actually catching a UA to spell, I believe, there, or it could have just been a couple of procs, but the dots did disappear from Sad, so I'm just assuming that is what it was. The Shroom going to be popped to heal himself right back up, and he's going to get out there once again, trying to heal back up Livin. The Sheep comes out onto Zeepai. DR clone to follow that up as it is dispelled. Well played by Rin, following up the CC. Going to have a UA silence on himself for now. The Swiftman, though, coming in, going to be able to top himself back off.
Yeah, I think Rin's actually doing a phenomenal job this game. Keep seeing Stat Stories try and get in for the fears onto Minpoike. I think he needs to try a little bit harder, though. He does get put into a Cyclone out of that. You know, every time Spectral comes up, drop a feather, try and get in there, get a fear. He does have to deal with Tremor Totems too, though. A Hex does go out onto Living. He can be decursed by Rin, but it looks like he is going to save his Dispel. Blood is inside of a Cyclone now. Doesn't have too many dots up. Needs to try and spread him a little bit more. Sounds like the burst is going in. When Poike caught inside that impact, there was a grounding totem, though, so I believe that may have stopped a Polymorph. Looks like Livin is going to be able to get that full poly onto Minpoike out of that. Nice job.
And a clone over onto Zeepai. That's going to be followed up by that Frost Shot. Immediate Shaman Rage comes out. Grounding going to get dropped. The clone going to be followed up, though, by Rind onto Minpoike. So Minpoike is still sitting, though, with his Trinket. They got the Shaman Rage, and that's all they really wanted. And they're happy to back off after that. But big damage coming in here on Rind. Offensive beam coming out there with the Symbiosis. Getting dangerously low. The NS heal does have to come out. Bark's being used there as well. Shadow Fury followed by that beam. Very well played. Forcing out a lot of pressure there, but Zeepai is the one with no Trinket, no Shaman Rage. Tranquility coming up for Rin once again. He's going to get locked on the last little bit of that. The Tranquility hot is ticking, though, and I think his team is going to be okay as a result.
Yeah, I like the Tranquility choice. Rind sitting 190k mana, Minpoike 260k mana. Both people have used their Innervate. There's some burst going in onto Zeepai right now, and Minpoike inside of a full Polymorph. Zeepai taking a lot of damage. He has Blanket Counterspell, just trying to run behind that pillar. He's healing, surging himself right now. He's not worried about getting any pressure himself. He just wants to alleviate the pressure on himself. A Silence goes out. It's overlapped with the DR Poly. Might be a little bit of a mistake.
Look at Rind right now. Rind is in a lot of trouble. The Ursock's going to have to come out. He's up to a massive amount of HP, but it's not going to matter. The Symbiosis Ice Block has to come out. A Nature's Guardian at the same time proccing there from Zeepai, who is in some trouble, living pretty low as well. Sad Story dipping down in the HP. We do see the MCS coming out onto Zeepai there as the Ascendants was active. They wanted to shut that down as best as they possibly can, but Minpoike still holding on to his trinket. This whole game has not had to use it. They've not been able to get the CC that they want on him.
Yeah, indeed. Rin does have his Heart of the Wild pop once again. Zipai at about half health inside of that Cyclone. Minpoike coming out of that Fear. He does have a proc. Maybe he can try and burst this this Fire Mage, but Zipai gets dispelled out of that Deep Freeze. I really like it. I think maybe saving dispels just for Deep, as long as you know Deep is on cooldown, I think it's really important. Rin down to about half health. Big burst going into him now. There's a Solar Beam on him as well. He's trying to waddle out of it at about 300,000 mana. Healing Tide does go down for Zipai. He just wants to be able to keep putting out the pressure, and the Healing Tide is going to let him stand in a little bit scarier of a spot, but he's taking so much damage now. Devouring Plague is on him. Minpoike trying to keep him up. They're trying to pull away to the pillar, just trying to kite now. He does knock Livin back. Livin at about 75% HP. Maybe they're
there's the trinket there coming up from Minpoike. It looks like Tremor was not available there. Sad Story able to get a clutch fear onto Zipai and Minpoike. The Dragon's Breath there to follow it up onto Minpoike. And he does have to finally give up that trinket. Shaman Rage not available for 30 seconds. Zipai does have his trinket though for the next Deep, so he will have that. But you know, so much offensive dispelling coming up from Sad Story, as well as the spell steals from Livin. They're constantly cleaning off the haunts, setting up these targets, and looking for that one shot.
Yeah, you're correct. Looks like Blood is going to have to try and hardcast Summon Observer. He does manage to get it. Looks like he is playing with that Soul Link. Pyroblast does go into him. Barely hits him for anything. Not doing much damage whatsoever. Livin does have a little proc, though. Maybe he can get something out of that. Fear does get dispelled. Nice job by Rin. He dispels that UA, though. Taking a little bit of damage. I feel like this game is probably going to go to dampening, but the thing is, I don't actually know who I think will win with the dampening. Frostjaw does get cast. It is onto Blood. Blood is going to trinket. He did get deep there. I like that choice. Counterspell goes up onto Zipai. Silence goes out onto Minpoike. Blood taking a lot of damage. There's a Dragon's Breath going out. Livin trying to get a Polymorph. Looks like he's not going to be able to get it onto who he wants, though. Blood was at about half health. Big pickup, though. Cyclone goes out. I think he might have tried to Cyclone, but look at Sad Story. Sad Story taking so much damage right here. Trying to kite away under a lot of pressure. Everybody is low on health now for our Fireplay team. Rin down at 200k HP, Sad at 300k HP. Is that a Tranquility coming out from Rin? Very nice job. Big Shadow Fury.
Triple Shadow Fury. He's trying to get the triple howl. He's going to get MCS bash, though. Well played there by Livin to be able to deny that, and that was very important as you know, they did not really want to have to blow anymore after already using the Tranquility. Zipai going to be sheeped up. Sad Story will be put into the clone there from Minpoike. He was disarmed, but the Fear was not able to come off of that because of that nice clone there from Minpoike. And Sad Story taking some damage, going to be howled up. It is only half, and you can see that, you know, BloodX, he wants to play with the Observer. He feels he needs that CS, but he's constantly parking the pet back behind the pillar, knowing that if it's out in the middle, it will be killed. Sad Story, though, down to about half. Livin is getting healed back up as well. But I mean, Rin is seeming like his team is under way more pressure right now, and he has a lot of work to do as he gets put into the Shadow Fury. UA Silence catches there as well. Sad Story down to 180k HP. The Iron Bar coming out. They want to keep him aggressive right now, trying to get a little bit of pressure out. Minpoike, though, has the trinket again. Zipai has his trinket as well. Shaman Rage also available, and honestly, they're not looking like they're close to a kill just yet.
Yeah.
Well, he just used the Shaman Rage, so Zipai just pressed Shaman Rage at full HP there, anticipating a Deep Freeze coming in, but they just sheep him on it, and a completely wasted Shaman Rage now could come back to haunt them, as they did force the trinket there from Minpoike, but Sad Story taking a little bit of damage himself, BloodX as well. Will they go back to Zipai and try to capitalize on this lack of Shaman Rage?
Yeah, there's so much damage coming out from Blood right now. He did have Demon Soul, and he has dots on everybody, so expect everybody to be dipping right here. Zipai doing tons of damage as well. They're all hanging out behind that pillar. Can BloodX get a nice Shadow Fury, maybe get a Howl of Terror? I really like the fact that this team is pillaring, but like I said right there, there's a triple Shadow Fury. Big damage going in on the Sad Story. He's at 80,000 HP, gets picked back up to about 200,000. Prayer Mending is bouncing everywhere, so that's a lot of healing coming out from this Shadow Priest, and that's what's really good about bringing a Shadow Priest to a dog comp like this, is you just get well, actually, here's the Solar Beam. This Solar Beam is pretty important, I think. It is in the middle of the map. They are able to get a lot of pressure out of it. Everybody's still so low on health. But like I was saying, the Shadow Priest against a dog comp, you just bounce that palm over and over, and that is going to alleviate so much pressure off of your Resto Druid.
Yeah, it definitely does help out quite a lot. They also have the decurses from Livin to try to help with the dots a little bit. But there's a Shadow Fury going to catch Sad Story. Rin going to try to get out of there, though. Livin down to about half HP, taking some damage himself. Minpoike still no trinket available. Zipai is going to have his Shaman Rage back up already, though. You know, you can tell that they are scared of the burst coming in. The Frostjaw going to land there onto Zipai. But so far, you know, there hasn't really been any close calls whatsoever for this LSD. The disarm coming out on Unfortunately, Sad Story going to get feared up first. He's not able to actually land that fear on Mimpoike. Now the NS coming up from Mimpoike. What's he looking for? It looks like he wants to get an NS clone. He's running across the map. Still has that NS active. Going to have to use it on a heal, I do believe. Zeepai, though, in some trouble now as he's down to about half HP. Standing in this room, though, Sad Story sitting pretty low as well.
Yeah, they're just trying to pick up Sad Story at this point. No dots on him. Really nice job to just always keep him clean. Zeepai at about 75% or so gets caught inside of a frost shot, taking a lot of damage here. He doesn't have Trinket available. He did have to Trinket the last deep freeze that came out. Livin taking so much damage too. He does have hypothermia on. He isn't able to ice block anytime soon. Zeepai down to about 200k HP.
There's the deep freeze, no Trinket available. He could be in some trouble with nice dispel there from Mimpoike. He will get caught by that VT Fear, and a good follow-up clone there from Rin, but still a clutch dispel on what could have actually, been the end for Zeepai there.
Yeah, indeed. Zeepai down to about half health now. He's inside of a counterspell. Healing Tide is down. He's just trying to kite away from our Shatterplay team at this point. Half health still. Healing Tide still down. I really think killing that Healing Tide is really important. There's a Shatter Fury that does go out. Hex onto Living. There's a full Fear onto Rin. This could be the end. Sad taking a lot of damage. Rin had to Trinket that Fear. Really nice job right there to be aware that there is a lot of damage coming in.
Yeah.
Sad Story is pretty though. But look at Mimpoike's mana versus Rin's mana. Mimpoike is so low compared to Rin. I think
here's the frost shot though on Zeepai. This is a setup they're looking for. Deep freeze comes in, instantly dispelled once again. They really need to do a better job of covering that deep freeze. They need to get a silencer and MCS on Mimpoike and deny those dispels, because that's really the bread and butter of this Shatterplay comp is those deep freeze bursts. And Dragon's Breath going to come out. It's going to catch both the DPS once again. The previous Dragon's Breath did actually force a Trinket from Blood X, so he's not going to have that available. Sad Story though taking some damage. Zeepai in trouble once again as he hits the MCS. He's down to 140k. Mimpoike is running on fumes at this point. He's only having 30,000 mana right now. Rin trying to get in there. Does have the Heart of the Wild up. He's trying to top his team back off, keep them aggressive because they can sense blood in the water. Mimpoike at 3,000 mana. Disperse does have to come out. The Heart of the Wild Tranquility will be channeled up. Should be able to top them back off. And Mimpoike now really trying to get away. He's looking to try to get this drink, and he's going to sit down for it as soon as he gets out of combat. But Zeepai in a lot of trouble. MCS, Deep Freeze comes in. This could be it. He needs to Trinket. He does so. The Iron Bark goes up as well. 100k, 70k. Nature's Guardian. Rock DNS coming out there from Mimpoike. He was not able to get any mana back. Livin though also taking some damage here, being forced back. But this fire play, they're trying to be as aggressive as possible. They're trying to stay in Mimpoike's face and not let him have the chance to get mana.
Yeah, living at about 144,000 HP. He's in a lot of trouble. There's a full cyclone going on onto Blood right now. Zeepai still at half health. He hasn't been topped in forever, but
Sad Story just gets absolutely rocked there by Zeepai, and I do not believe he had his disperse back yet, and you can see...
They were excited.
Yeah, dude.
Zeepai was like, hell yeah. You see that proc right there? That was all me, baby. Blood's like, hold on, I need to pad the damage meters for the end.
I mean, pretty crazy end to that game, honestly. I thought that was looking pretty brutal for Mimpoike and co. For their team. It was looking like they were really on the back foot. He was completely for a while there. And Sad Story, didn't have the disperse available. Went out in the middle of the map, was trying to run in there and get a fear. Trying to, they sensed that they had an opportunity to get a kill. They wanted to go for it, and it ended up really kind of backfiring there as he just got procced down and absolutely erased.
Yeah, I mean, we tend to see that against both variations of LSD. Our LSD that already managed to receive an invitation, and the LSD today. One's elemental, one has a moonkin. But every time someone thinks they can get a kill on one of these LSDs, next thing you know, they're the ones getting killed. Because they'll overextend, the dots get to be too much, some nice burst comes in, because elementals and moonkins both have this insane burst that can just randomly happen. Nice little RNG.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of damage, you always have to respect it. You have to have those cooldowns available. You have to know, what you have available to deal with that kind of stuff. Otherwise, you risk having things like this happen to you. And definitely a disappointing end of the game for them. But you can see why they're afraid of that comp. Even though they did win the first game, it really did look like it was starting to really swing in their favor later in the game. Mimpoike was completely it seemed like every time they started doing damage to Zeepai, cooldowns were coming out. They were really starting to get into a lot of trouble, I felt like, at the end.
Yeah, that's one of those games. We've all had those games on the ladder where it's like you're winning and you're consistently winning. I mean, it's only one game so far, but you've had them. You're playing on the ladder, you're winning, and you're winning, and you know that if you fight them again, you're going to win. But it's so stressful because they have such high bursts, and you're so scared the whole time that you're just like, we can lose at any second. So.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely something that can be pretty frustrating. And it looks like they are discussing something with the admins. You know, BloodX seems a little bit frustrated with something. I'm not sure exactly what the issue is, and we will let you guys know as soon as we do hear something. I don't know if there's maybe something wrong with his mouse or something. He was kind of swinging his mouse around there. I'm not really sure. But anyway, we are going to be waiting for the map choice here from Playing with Fire. It is their ability to pick the next map, and what do you think they would go with now? And being down a game here, this is the road to BlizzCon. They obviously an extremely important match for them. You know, what map do you think would be the go-to?
If I had to guess, I would probably say, Ruins of Lordaeron. I would. Yeah. I think it's just all around a good map for their team. It's a lot easier to land Fears. It's a lot easier to have good Ring of Frosts, and the other thing is that with the other maps, there are a lot of, I mean, the Elemental Shaman knockback and the Druid knockback can be huge.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have to deal with that. I mean, you do have a Druid on your own team for the knockback, but
I mean, what do you think about? I mean, taking into consideration the fact that the longer the game went, it seemed like more and more went into the favor of the fire play or shadow play or whatever you want to call it.
Actually, the longer the game went, the longest the game went, it was in favor.
Okay, well, but as the game got further and further into it, it was looking better and better for them. So I mean, taking that into consideration, do you think that then you maybe consider a map like Tolvaron or something a little bit more spread out, where you can, you know, maybe get that kind of later stage of the game a bit easier?
You know, you could kind of play that way, or like something else that I was thinking of was maybe on Blade's Edge Arena, because you know how at the beginning they were sort of just teeing off against each other. Yeah. No one was running into anyone else's face. On Blade's Edge, it really forces that, but it also means that if you're playing on top, then it'd be pretty easy to get a Fear onto Minpoike, as long as you Spectral guys in. Like, yeah, there are the knockoffs that you have to deal with, but if, you know, there's a bad knock, for all you know, the two-tier map could end up helping your team. Yeah, because let's say you're getting bursted, he gets a lot of procs, you just jump down. You don't need a pillar, you just jump.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And at the same time, you know, on maps where people are getting kind of clustered up, Dragon's Breath becomes a really big issue, honestly. Dragon's Breath is so obnoxious to deal with. Dalaran Arena, another map where it can be pretty frustrating. Your team oftentimes does get clustered up behind the boxes, and those like 3-man Dragon's Breath and stuff can be pretty game-ending at times.
Yeah, that is Blood XCC right there.
So it is going to be Tolvaron.
With the blue shirt. Nice blue shirt. I do like it. Good style. Good, almost as good style as you with that purple shirt.
Thank you.
Digging the purple.
So it is going to be Tolvaron Arena, and that's kind of what I was thinking, what was going to happen here. And I mean, I definitely understand why they're going for this. You know, like I talked about, the game kind of was seeming better and better for them the longer it went on, and I think that having seen that, they're going to be looking for a map where they can extend the game, where they can make it go into those later stages, get into dampening, because it was Minpoike that was really struggling with the mana. It wasn't Rind in those later stages.
Yeah, you're right. It really all comes down to when does our Elemental Shaman get the burst that he needs in order to just 1-0 someone.
Yeah.
100-0. What is 1-0? Score?
It is the score.
Yeah,
and we are here on the road to BlizzCon at Dreamhack Stockholm. It's BP versus Playing with Fire. BP already up 1 map. They are now 2 maps away from moving forward. And you know, if you move forward, you're only 1 more series away from that last invite to BlizzCon. Extremely important stuff for both of these teams. We can see, once again, just kind of that line of scrimmage set up, both teams sitting in the back, you're just spamming out that damage. You actually see the mind control coming out onto BloodX on that Demon Soul trinket proc, just trying to shut down as much damage as possible, and he's actually going to resummon the Observer, not sure why, as he still has his original one back behind the pillar.
Oh, mind control going out to put Zeepai on the wrong side of the map, and it's wasting his Ascendant.
Really nice, dude. He actually mind controlled almost a full mind control on the Demon Soul, then got almost a full mind control on the Ascendants, and completely denying those offensive cooldowns in a very unique way. There's the Fear onto Minpoike. Zeepai going to get silenced up, but it's a split second too late as the Tremor Totem was already down, you know, wasting that combo. Another mind control coming in on BloodX there. Pretty interesting stuff here from Sad's story, honestly, but Livin is the one getting the worst end of this. He's down about 200k. He's got to get out of there, and he will start to kite back to Rin, to the pillar. They're going to get topped off, and now they're going to be looking to get a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, you know, there's a symbiosis on the mage, actually, so Livin was healing, touching himself. And
another
I do
mind
like
control.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the mind control. I'm going to be honest. I liked it at the beginning, but now I feel like he's trying to compensate and say, this is why I chose this spell. and now it's kind of stopping his pressure from going out. He only has dots on one person. Cyclone goes out onto Min Poike, but they're not getting anything with this DR. So I think the mind control is actually hurting their team at this point, just because of the way he's using it. He was having a solid game until now, but Blood is down to about half. He's being picked up now. Dots are on him. Livin taking a lot of damage, about half HP himself. Lower than half now, 40%.
Another mind control. It's going to actually force the trinket. And I honestly have to disagree. I kind of like the mind controls. Although they are under a lot of pressure right now, Sad Story could be going down. He is back behind the pillar. The tranquility is coming out. I think the thought process here is just delay by any means necessary. Just use the mind controls to try to stop damage, CC someone. You're CCing yourself as well, but I don't even think they're looking for a kill just yet until the deep freeze is up. And now there's the disarm into the fear. Min Poike and BloodX going to be caught into that. Min Poike is stuck in that full. Zipai into the bash. He's taking quite a bit of damage here. Do they have any follow-up for Min Poike? It doesn't look like it just yet, but Livin trying to get that damage rolling. They did force the Sham Rage, and that is extremely important.
I don't know, man. It just seems like every time he goes for mind control, his team loses all pressure, and pressure is crowd control itself. The Elemental Shaman will not be standing in the middle of the map shoving his damage into everybody if he's taking damage himself. Sad Story at about half HP now inside of that Shadow Fury Sun, Living at about 80% HP. Trinket is available for Rin if he gets caught inside of a CC, but it doesn't even look like they're going for it. Rin is actually standing in the middle of the map in front of everybody, so they're playing really aggressive now. Nice Spear goes out onto Zipai and Min Poike. Doesn't look like they're able to get much out of it. Blood was inside of a Cyclone as well. They had triple CC and not anything's happening. Zipai taking damage now, but the CC's already over. There's a counterspell to Min Poike though. Zipai down to about 200k HP. NG does proc. He has Iron Bark as well. Silence is on him. Cyclone onto Min Poike. His Trinket still available. Decides not to use it. Really nice job. And now all the dots are being cycloned off. I think that was really well done by Min Poike Zipai. I really liked it.
Yeah, definitely well played there. The dots are now spreading around heavily onto this Playing with Fire team. They're taking quite a bit of damage, honestly, at this point. Another mind control out there onto Zipai. Min Poike does have the Heart of the Wild active, trying to keep his team topped off. Mind control on Zipai, clone Sheep onto BloodX, and there is the MCS onto Livin right now. Livin is going to be taking some damage, but the disarm comes in. The fear as well onto Min Poike. Zipai not in range to get that Tremor Totem. He's just going to get out of there, heal himself back up behind the pillar. BloodX with his Trinket back up, and Min Poike is sheeped up. The clone to follow that. They're trying to get something going. There's the deep freeze coming out, but Sham Rage was already active. Mind control once again onto BloodX there. They got the cooldown they wanted. Now they're going to clone him up. Silence comes over onto Min Poike. They're looking to try to set up out of this, as the Sham Rage is going to expire here pretty shortly.
Yeah, you can see Min Poike actually currently using his dash. I guess he really wanted to get away. Living at there inside of about 4 seconds more of his X. Trinket is available for him. Sad Story fully dotted now inside of that fear. He does manage to get out of it now, taking a little bit of damage. So burst going into him. Howl of Terror is put out. Rin does have that lava shock on him, flame shock on him, so he might take some damage. There's the burst going in onto Blood. There's a Devouring Plague taking so much damage. He might have to pop a defensive cooldown here, but he is just playing in the middle of the map, trying to get his own pressure out. I guess they're saying keep going on full mana. You don't need to alleviate any pressure. He does even pop his Demon Soul because look at Sad's health.
Yeah, he actually is forced into the disperse there. And will they be able to finish him off coming out of that? I don't think so, but still. A key cooldown having to be used there. Going to get the mind control onto Min Poike. What's he going to be able to set up out of that? Doesn't look like anything as the beam did come down there from Zipai, and it is able to deny that mind control. Howl of Terror now going to come in. It's going to land on a Sad Story. Rin going to be cloned up. His team falling behind a little bit at this point, as Sad Story has no disperse. Rin has no Trinket. It is going to be up in about 5-10 seconds, but he needs to make sure his team is topped off before any more CC can come in on him.
Yeah. All right, it's been a few minutes into this game, and at this point there have been a lot of scary moments for our Shatterplay team, or our Fireplay, I should say. Not too many scary moments. There was, I think, one with Zipai, but I mean, I don't like the mind control. I stand by it, man. Not too much pressure coming out because of it.
Here's the silence into the Sheep onto Min Poike. They do get, once again, Sham Rage out there. Iron Bark going to be overlapped with that. Min Poike into a DR Sheep now. Still does have his Trinket available. He's going to hold on to that for now. The clone does come in. Zipai taking some damage. Stoneform going to come out from him. He does not want to have Min Poike a Trinket, and he is going to go through his defensive cooldowns, but it just does not seem that they're actually being able to force them out as fast as they're coming up. And Sad Story going to get very low there. Got down to about 100k as the procs did come out from Zipai. Almost able to finish him off, but he is not quite able to do it. And BloodX now put into the clone. Min Poike does have the NS up. He's going to use that for an NS clone onto Livin. Just going to try to CC him up, deny any heals coming in, and potentially set up some aggressive moves.
Yeah, big damage coming in on the blood right now. He's inside of that deep. He's in so much trouble down at 50 HP, and he's just going to explode.
Oh my god.
Wow.
He just got absolutely destroyed there by Living in Sad Story. The damage comes in, and he is going to fall down. Minpoike had the trinket available for the disarm, but knowing that if full fear could come in, something else could be following that up, he didn't want to go for it, and they look very excited about that one.
Yeah, Render's like, just one deep, man. That's all we need. And you see Sad Story in the middle there. He's like, yeah, we only needed one deep. But that's just showing how scary Fireplay is, man. Maybe the mind control was good.
I actually think it was good, dude.
I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. It didn't have any effect on how that final burst played out.
Of course not. Of course, it doesn't do damage. It didn't have effect on
Yeah,
how
I
the
know,
burst
but it's
played
not
out,
like they use it to set up crowd control.
No, but
the
whole point of it, if I'm understanding what he's doing right, is literally just slowing down the pace of the game. Like he's CCing himself, and they're not going to get pressure. But what they're saying is it doesn't matter because our pressure doesn't matter. They're saying they're only going to get a kill with a one shot like that. So the whole idea about the mind control is just use the mind control on your opponent when they use their cooldowns, slow them down. Stop the Ascendant, stop the Demon Soul, things like that, and use it just like as an annoyance tactic, basically, a tactic to slow down the game as they're waiting for their Deep Freeze to come up, as they're waiting for their Silence to come up, their Shadow Fiend, because those are the times they're going to be able to get the kill. They're never going to actually just like pressure down and kill this team. Yeah, it actually is really frustrating. There was a certain Shadow Priest that played a certain Shadow play, and it was the most frustrating thing in the world when he would just run in your face and you don't have any interrupts available, and you just know he's saying, I'm going to mind control these guys. And it's just like, please. Stop. My brain belongs to me. I want to be standing right here. I don't want you to move me into your team. Yeah. And I really liked it at the beginning. I thought it was really good at the beginning. I understand that we disagree overall, but at the beginning, specifically, when he mind controlled the Ascendants and that
came out from Zeepai, and the Demon Soul, and he just ran them into his team, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That is
It can
smart.
set up follow-up CC as well, makes it easier for Rind. It is a double-edged sword. If he runs the Warlock into his Druid, the Warlock can get a fear as well, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think it was actually pretty reasonable, and I really did like the swap onto BloodX. I mean, they were focusing mostly on Zeepai throughout the game, but Minpoike and Zeepai were rotating their cooldowns extremely well defensively, and as a result, they never actually got them to a point where they had that kind of kill Deep Freeze where it was like, no Shaman Rage, no Trinket from either, no anything. They always had a cooldown. They always had a button to press. Whereas, as the Warlock, as BloodX, it's like he's never being targeted, so he's going to get aggressive. He didn't hold under his Trinket or his Unbound Will for a deep like that because he's using them constantly, on Sheeps and clones, and he even, he Trinketed Mind Control at one point, things like that. He's just trying to stay aggressive, and it's not that that's a bad move, but it's just that the other team made a good move to capitalize on the fact that he didn't have a Trinket, didn't have Unbound Will. And, I mean, I guarantee you he had his healing cooldowns and stuff like that, but it doesn't matter if you die instantly.
Yeah, it's rough, but it's life, man.
It is the game of life here on the road to BlizzCon, guys. You can hashtag Road to BlizzCon if you want to get involved on social media, and we'll be checking out those hashtags throughout the day.
I remember what I was going to say.
What was it?
I was going to say, what's the quote from Pure Ownish? But it's, you're pro or you're a noob.
That's life.
That's life, Kyle.
That's life.
He doesn't say Kyle, but I like the way he says Kyle.
Yeah.
So.
That's fair. So the two teams just going to be talking about it a little bit, but it is all tied up. So the series basically reset. It's now, effectively a best of 3.
Yes.
And
I actually hate it when commentators such as ourselves say now it's effectively a best of 3, because then it's like saying the last 2 games didn't matter, but it did. They do. You got to experience the games against players that you're fighting for the next best of 3. Certain maps have already been played.
It's not saying that it doesn't
how
matter. It's just saying that it's tied up and there's only 3 games left.
I don't like the expression.
All right, well, that is fine. It is, you're allowed to not like it.
Thank you.
We're on the Grand Arena, guys. We're going to be
much.
going on into Game 3 here at Dreamhack Stockholm.
Yes. All right, looks like no changes have been made. Going to be running the same comp into the same comp. Would you ever swap your Warlock onto Warrior?
No.
Why is that?
I just don't think that without, I mean, if you go with the Warlock on the Warrior, I just don't think they have enough like kind of consistent CC to kind of break up the stuff. I mean, without like MCS to stop damage on deeps, without him spamming his fears and stuff like that, I just don't think that they have enough control to deny the damage coming out of the other team. And I think it would just be too easy of a setup for a Shadow Priest Fire Mage to kill against that setup.
Yeah. How do you feel about the Demonic Gateway being from one pillar to the other? Do you think that's actually going to help out at all, or do you think it should be more in the middle into a pillar? I would prefer middle into a pillar.
I actually think it's pretty solid because they're the ones I think that are under pressure to be aggressive here. Because, you know, like I said, Sad Story and Livin know they're going to be able to get a one-shot kill eventually.
Ooh, here's my control.
And they are just kind of waiting for that. So I think that having this gateway, which is a little bit aggressive, is going to allow him to maybe get more in the face of Rind. And I think that's really what he's trying to accomplish with it.
That mind control made it so he was mind controlled into a poly, into a cyclone. I wonder if there's going to be anything out of that. It doesn't look like it. So Zeepai is now going to get dotted though because he is on the wrong side of the map. Demonic Gateway is available for him if he wants to take it. I wouldn't recommend taking it right now though. That story is being dotted fully by Blood, but now Blood is mind controlled on his Demon Soul. And you know, I think they need to be aware of the fact that mind controls are coming out. I think there have been far too many casts on far too many cooldowns that they should probably have learned by now. My critique.
But how are you supposed to really react to it? I think that's the problem. Is it's like
you shock it.
Sure, you can CS it, you can shock it, but you know that's using it on something else that allows you to be opened up for cyclones, for polys, for those kind of things. So that's kind of the whole idea with it, I think. But Minpoike going to be feared up. BloodX does use Unbound Will on that. Zeepai going to be forced to Shaman Rage, but Livin was feared off, and you know, a little bit of a waste on that Shaman Rage this time around. But yeah, going back to the mind control point, I really do think that that's the whole idea with the mind control. Is he doesn't care if it gets interrupted. It's not a big deal. Whereas, you know, the polys and the clones and the fears and everything, you're having to use interrupts on those constantly.
Yeah, and I suppose you can still mind spike even if you get interrupted, so it's not really a DPS loss either. Okay, good point. I like your points. Blood got mind controlled there, but once again it was interrupted. Sad Story trying to get into their faces right here. Looks like
a nice
very effective.
Blink CS actually there. Comes in to lock BloodX out, but he is just going to gate out of there. And when you see the clone coming in on Minpoike, they're trying to get a sheep out of it. The fear is going to land. It's going to be tremored up by Zeepai. The sound's a little bit too slow, unfortunately. But Minpoike unable to actually shift that sheep. That's could be a key moment there. Zeepai was into the frost shot, but no deep freeze able to come up off of that because of the MCS coming out there from BloodX. So well played by him. Actually a nice dispel on that NS from Rind. Rind going to be feared on his NS and will be purged off there by Zeepai. Well played to both recognize and act on it.
You know, I think it's also really important to be constantly rebuffing against both of these teams because you do have a Druid on your team and there are so many dispels. The Mage can lifesteal, the Priest can dispel you, the Zeepai is able to purge, the Warlock is able to devour. So constantly rebuffing for both teams is actually super helpful. You gain so many stats, so I'd like to see that start to happen. Cyclone is cast onto Blood. Zeepai caught in that polymorph. It's a 3v1 situation. Minpoike not taking any damage, obviously. He's a great druid. He just plays in the back, throws out his life bloom, throws out his rejuve. But when he goes offensive, he goes offensive.
Here's the damage though, yeah, coming in on a BloodX. BloodX gonna have to pour it out of there. Out of about half HP, Minpoike still CC'd up. The silence comes in on BloodX. It is a DR silence, unfortunately for them, but the Dragon's Breath will land on both Minpoike and BloodX. Can they get a sheep off of that? They do land the sheep. BloodX does have his Demon Soul up. That's going to cost a trinket there from Minpoike, so they got what they came for once again, forcing those trinkets, forcing those cooldowns. And Unbound Will actually used there by BloodX. I'm not quite sure what it was on. Maybe an MCS or something, but mind control coming out. It's going to land onto BloodX. He's not going to want to trinket this. He's trying to play it safe. It was actually purged off there by Zeepai, so well played by him. But it'll be interesting to see if BloodX does hold on to his trinket this time around, you know, with a little bit more respect of that burst that the team put out.
Yeah. All right. So let's take a look at the mana. Minpoike at about 260k, Rind at about 160k. So obviously Minpoike is winning that pretty hardly. I don't know the expression. Whatever. Dots are going out onto Rind. He gets cycloned on it though. Sad taking a lot of dots as well, down to about 60% HP. Living caught inside of a Shadow Fury. Really nice Shadow Fury
actually there. Really well played by BloodX as they did converge. They're all going to get caught by that. The MCS into the sheep on Zeepai. A re-sheep on the Dispel there. They're just trying to set it up. Looking to push forward now. See what damage they can get out. See what CC they can get on Minpoike. There's the disarm on Minpoike. Sad Story trying to get in there. Trying to get the fear. We'll see if he's going to be able to do it. Doesn't look like it as he does get coaxed up. Minpoike does pop the sprint and cat form. He's trying to get away. Zeepai going to be taking some damage. Shaman Rage forced out. Silence does land on onto Minpoike. He's going to meld, trying to avoid some CC to follow that up. He's going to be able to do it. The CS, though, coming in onto BloodX. The beam going to be thrown down defensively onto Sad Story, and Zeepai once again just sheeped up. You know, they force the cooldowns, and then they back off. There's no point in continuing the damage. They know they don't have pressure, and Rin sitting down to drink. You know, the last Deep Freeze was able to force the trinket from Minpoike. This one does get the Shaman Rage from Zeepai. The next one, unfortunately, you know, they're going to need to get the trinket from Zeepai again, and then Minpoike is going to have his trinket available. And Rin could be in a little bit of trouble here. Going to use double skin, actually. The Iron Bark and the Barkskin do both go up there. Will be okay on the back of that, but not going to have it available for his teammates.
Yeah, that was actually pretty offensive for him. He ran into the center of the arena and just took so much damage, but like you said, only took the Barkskin and the Iron Bark, and then he wasn't taking too much damage. That's all they really had to blow. He is taking a decent amount now because he did dispel a UA once again. He's always dispelling these UAs, and I think it's definitely worth it. You know, you're stopping a lot of pressure. You may take a little bit of damage, but you know that if you have good positioning as your Resto Druid, you're just going to be hanging out behind pillars. You're not trying to be in their face. You're not mind controlling them. You're not casting polymorphs. You're not putting out damage. So it's completely fine to dip your health a little bit if it means that you're dispelling dots. So now
here's the disarm. The Fear going to be coming out. Deep Freeze onto BloodX. BloodX is the target here. The trigger has coming from Zeepai, but the silence of Minpoike. He's trying to sit through this. Is this the right choice? It looks like it is, as the heal does land from Zeepai. Dark Regen Hellstone did come out as well as the Iron Bark. So you know, he's getting that extra healing from that Dark Regen, and Zeepai was able to take advantage of it. Minpoike, though, put into a GR Sheep. Rin does have you know, the Heart of the Wild active. All trinkets, all three trinkets just came out all in a row there for playing with fire. Rin not out of the woods just yet. He's going to have to pop the Ursox as the Howl does come in. It hits both him and Sad Story. Livin going to be cloned up. BloodX still in some trouble. He's down to 250k HP. Will get out of there, as Minpoike did have to use his trinket as well. But still, no Observer out right now. He did actually lose his Observer in that exchange, and he was trying to resummit. They're not going to let him do it just yet. Minpoike put into the Fear. There's the Deep Freeze coming in. This could be it for BloodX. He's going to be in a lot of trouble. The Pyros come in. Full Sheep on Minpoike. I think this could be it. 200,000 HP. He needs to get out of there. MCS comes in. A big heal does land from Zeepai, keeping his teammate alive, and he's going to be able to soul burn out another Observer, but Zeepai is from all this healing, and BloodX is still in trouble. The bash comes in on Minpoike. BloodX trying to survive. He's trying to heal as best as he possibly can, but he's at 60,000 HP, 50,000 HP. The heal does come up. The Nether Ward goes out 30,000, 20,000. He is going to fall, and that is a 2-1 lead for playing with fire as Rin pumps his arm and celebrating the victory. He is pumped up. You can see it.
Yeah,
and they are one game away from knocking out, you know, one of the most highly touted teams in Europe.
I think at that point, when you're just trying to survive and you're not trying to put any pressure out whatsoever because you're just worried about not dying because your Druid's been CC'd for the past 38 seconds, I think you just need to drain life something. I didn't see him cast a single drain life, and he wasn't really like trying to CC or anything like that. He was putting out dots. I think he really should be drain lifing.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a lot of healing.
You know, it's definitely not bad, and especially if you do have a shard for Soulburn Drain Life. You know, it is kind of an okay desperation measure. You know, but from what I saw, I was really trying to get the CC out, and the thing is, it's like you can drain life, but it's not really going to save you in very many situations. And you know, I think the thing that he was trying to prioritize, and I think the thing that's the most important there is stopping additional CC coming in on Minpoike, because you know, as you said, that CC chain lasted so long, and it's not going to stop unless you get some CC out to deny it, you know, because Minpoike doesn't have his trinket, he can't control his character, so it's not like he can LOS the CC, it's not like he can displace or beast away or anything like that, so it really is up to his teammates to deal with that for him, and I really think that's what BloodX was trying to do, but, you know, once again, another game, another kill on BloodX, and, you know, it's a tough situation because this team is just playing it out so well. They know they don't have to care about pressure. They just go for a burst. They get a cooldown. As soon as they get a cooldown, even if someone's at half HP, they stop doing damage. They know they're not going to kill. They understand the limitations, the strengths, the weaknesses of their comp, and that's actually something that I'm really liking. I think the mind control is actually a key thing that they changed.
It's working out.
It's really good. And also just it's funny. It kind of looks funny. It's like you'll see Zeepai sometimes press his Shaman Rage at 100% HP, and then they just sheep him. And you're like, why the heck would you do that? The thing is, if they get a deep MCS on him and he can't actually get the Shaman Rage up, he could just get erased. So he's trying to pre-Shaman Rage sometimes. But as soon as they see that they get that cooldown, they know they can't kill through it. Even if he's at half HP, even if he's at 40% HP, they're just sheeping him up. They're retreating, they're resetting, and they're just doing it over and over and over, forcing cooldowns out every single time. And eventually, there's no more cooldowns to give, and they get the kill.
Yeah, that's very true, man. Now, here's a question. Can they come back? Because just based on what I know about BloodX, he seems like a pretty emotional player.
Yeah.
He seems like the type of player that would go on tilt. And I don't want to see this game not go to Game 5. Double negative.
We actually still have not seen a single 5-game series in the entire road to BlizzCon.
Yeah.
And you guys can tweet to us. Maybe you think this is going to be the 5-game series. Maybe the next one will be a 5-game series. Let us know your predictions. Hashtag road to BlizzCon on Twitter. You guys can also tweet to Conrad and I. I am at AzaleWow on Twitter. He is at Conrad NAO. We love hearing from you guys. We love hearing from the community. It's definitely a lot of fun getting involved with that. And as far as if they can come back, I mean, they definitely have the ability to come back, man. But I think when you look at the 3 games that we've seen now, you have to be heavily favoring playing with fire.
Yeah.
Not only because of the score, they're only 1 map away from winning, but because of the way that their opponents got their only win. It was basically on the back of Zeepai kind of getting some proc luck. I mean, he just absolutely blew up. Sad story out of nowhere. And yes, they had forced out, the disperse. They had forced out those cooldowns. It's not like they didn't earn that win or something. But it's just not. It wasn't like one of those wins where you're like, oh, okay, they're about to kill him now. They already forced everything out. It was just an out of the blue, burst him down, and kind of one of those throwaway gimme games. And if they can't repeat that, how do they get a win? Yeah. But anyway, guys, it is going to be in the Grand Arena once again here. We're zoning on in. Let's see if playing with fire can close the game out.
All right, same setup, nothing has changed. I'm interested to see if he's still mind control. I would expect him to be, because it's like you said, it is really working out for them. And you're right, I concede. I was wrong. Right, mind control is good for him. That's 2 wins now with mind control, 1 win with, or 1 loss without.
Yeah, and he's immediately going for that mind control once again. And we'll see what adaptations this team can make. We're actually going to see the pet sacrifice this time around for BloodX. I think that's something he was needing to do a while ago, to be honest. Playing with the Supremacy was just not working out. His pet was having to be parked behind the pillar the whole time anyway, and it was getting killed off sometimes. So I like the choice to kind of just revert and go away from that, play pet sacrifice instead of Supremacy. And based on his HP, I think he's playing Dark Bargain as well now, which is something he probably should have changed up a while ago.
Yeah, and Minpoiki actually got hibernated there, which always really sucks. There's a Cyclone going out onto Zeepai, BloodX down to about, a Cyclone onto BloodX. I like that offensive Cyclone. He's at about 2/3 health right now. Minpoiki did already use his Shadow Meld. He does have his Trinket available. Nice Shadow Fury going out, did catch on.
Oh, look at Livin though, man. All this damage coming from Zeepai, and that is just Zeepai. There's not even a single dot up on him. So besides that Flame Shock, of course, from the LE Shaman, and he got down to about 100,000 HP. Didn't have to use a cooldown, but still was taking quite a bit of pressure there. BloodX going to be mind controlled up, and one thing to note, now that they have forced him off the Supremacy pet, it's going to be even more annoying because you can't CS it when you're mind controlled, since the CS is actually on your player with the sacrifice. But the Deep Freeze does come in. Sheep over on Minpoiki out of the bash. They're trying to get some damage rolling here, but it's Rind taking the worst end of it. They need to get some dots rolling up on him. Barkston has been popped. He has no hots, but I think he's far enough away that it doesn't matter. And BloodX is going to have to catch the Iron Bark there from Minpoiki, who did Trinket. Rind, though, getting hit hard. He's in some trouble. Urstox comes out. Heart of the Wild as well. Iron Bark going down there. He's going to pop the Shroom. He's trying to get over onto Minpoiki, looking for that clone. He will be able to land it. BloodX now under quite a bit of pressure himself. Sad. No Trinket available for him. He's pulling back. Living pulling back as well. The Tranquility coming out there from Rind. The Heart of the Wild Tranquility will top the team back off.
Yeah, nice job there. BloodX at about half health. He hasn't really been topped all game, it seems, and as I say that, he's taking a lot of health. But look at that. The Pyroblast coming in, lots of damage coming in. Minpoiki completely fine on mana. Doing a really nice job kiting away. I love it when I see these teams, they're not like saying, this is my pillar. They're saying, this whole map is ours. We're going to use it all to our advantage. But living in the middle of the map, he's going in. Looks like he's going to try and get a Polymorph onto Minpoiki. Can he do it? Big burst going in onto BloodX. He blinks forward. He does manage to get caught in that Howl of Terror because he blinked forward, though. Zeepai just channeling out the damage now. Minpoiki caught inside that Cyclone. No Trinket available. No Trinket available for Blood either. Rin has no Trinket available. Living caught inside of a Hex. He does manage to get out of it, though. Rin now getting counterspelled. Full dots on him. Full dots on Sad Story. Cyclone going out onto Blood. A Sheep goes out onto Zeepai. So much pressure. Sad Story at about half health. He's taking so much damage. Livin, he's also fully dotted. And now the game is a little bit stale.
Yeah, well, they are going to reset. Once again, they got the cooldown they wanted. They got the Trinket out of BloodX, and they're happy with that. So they'll pull back. Now the Fear comes in onto Minpoiki. Now this is where they look for the setup. MCS Fear coming out. And there's a sheep out of that onto Mimpoike. There was a deep freeze onto Zeepai. He's going to pop his Spearwalker's Grace, trying to do the Spearwalker's Grace heals over onto BloodX. BloodX taking a fair bit of damage there, but Zeepai, doing a good job helping out his teammate. He's going to get out of there as he was getting mind controlled. Clicked at the same time, is going to be able to get out of range of the mind control, and that will break it. Livin, I believe he did block offensively there. He's down to about 400,000 HP. Zeepai at half HP right now. Mimpoike's trinket just coming off cooldown. BloodX taking a little bit of damage himself, but you can see they're starting to play a little bit more scared. This LSD is, and BloodX caught with the mind control. It's going to be purged off there, I do believe, by Zeepai, so well played by him. Sad, going to be fully dotted up. Livin, Rind as well, catching full dots there from BloodX. BloodX going to be thrown into the Dragon's Breath, though. Silence on his Zeepai. He's going to have to Trinket Tremor for Mimpoike, but he gets put into the Deep Freeze. Is there any more CC available for Mimpoike? Doesn't look like it just yet, but a nice offensive clone there onto Zeepai. If they can set up out of this could be trouble here for BP. As Zeepai has no hots and he's at 200k, but there's no setup to follow. Mimpoike will be able to get him healed right back up to full. Sad story, the one under pressure now. Down about half HP. Livin taking some damage as well, and Rind looks like he's going to be the main target.
Yeah, look at this, man. Now the dots are really starting to roll. Rind gonna Swiftmend under himself, puts the Shroom there as well. So now our Shatterplay team, or our Fireplay team rather, is just going to kind of pull back, try and get themselves topped, and then they'll be going in for the burst a little bit later. Nice Earthquake going down. That's going to stop them from drinking, but they don't really need to drink at this point. Shadow Fury does go down. It does catch Rin. Doesn't look like... Oh, the Fear did go out, but it got trinketed immediately, and now Rin gets put into another Fear out of that. Living caught inside of a Hex and a Fear. Nature's Swim is coming back up in about 18 seconds for Rin, but look at the damage going in on the Sad Story. He's at about 50k HP. He's going to have to disperse behind that pillar. Just trying to run. Rin was caught inside that Cyclone. He's out of it now. Doesn't have Nature's Swim available for another 10 seconds or so. Look at Sad Story just hanging out now. He's trying to survive. It looks like he will be able to because there's no more CC going in onto Rind.
Yeah, he got very low there, down about 60k. He doesn't have the full mind control onto Zeepai, though, and Zeepai is just going to sit through that. I mean, Mimpoike has his trinket available, so does BloodX. No trinkets available here for playing with fire, and we can see that Sad is going to be going over onto BloodX. BloodX has to trinket that immediately, still taking a ton of damage, though. There's a full sheep on Mimpoike. He's trying to sit through this. Is this the right choice? He may be getting pretty far behind here. The heal's going to come out from BloodX. Full Fear comes out onto Mimpoike, make that a half Fear. They're going to get back to BloodX, so BloodX gets mounted up. He's going to gate across the map. Pretty quick thinking there. Fast fingers to get back up on the mountain, get out of there from BloodX. So BloodX going to be getting healed back up to full. Mimpoike into a triple DR sheep. His trinket's still available. He did hold on to that through everything, but they did force the trinket from BloodX. Now the silence on Mimpoike, that's super DR'd, but Zeepai is going to get MCS out of that deep freeze. And now if Fear comes out on Mimpoike, that'll be tremored. Zeepai still in trouble though. He's down quite low here. Not going to give up the Charm Rage just yet, but Livin in some trouble now. Livin going to be forced back. He's down to 200k. Will pop the Temporal. He's going to use a Symbiosis Healing Touch on himself, just trying to help out Rind any way he can.
Yeah, indeed. That was so much pressure. So many cooldowns were used. The Solar Beam does go down. Sad Story taking a little bit of damage. Livin trying to get in there. He accidentally cast the Polymorph a little bit early right there on that Cyclone, so it didn't actually go off. Blood did get Cyclone once again. Frostjaw goes out onto Blood. He's going to take a lot of damage here. He's inside of that deep. Can they get anything on him in Mimpoike? He does get feared full. Blood at about half HP. Lots of pressure going out.
There was a Trinket Tremor, but it actually wasn't in range, I do believe, to actually knock him out of that fear. So BloodX may go down as a result of this. He's going to get cloned on his Trinket, Mimpoike. And we do see that there is that Dark Bargain now coming out of BloodX. We talked about the respec before the game. It's going to save him right now. The Frost Shot going to land onto Zeepai. Sheep over onto Mimpoike. BloodX looking like he's out of the woods for now, but still another major cooldown gone. Mimpoike loses his Trinket. BloodX loses his Dark Bargain, and the double Dragon's Breath is going to connect on both the DPS. MCS on a Zeepai. There's a deep freeze on the BloodX. He may be going down here. I think this is the end, and he is going to fall. That is going to be that. Playing with Fire jumps up in celebration of their victory. They are now one step closer to that BlizzCon invite.
Indeed. Their road to BlizzCon is paved in the death of one Warlock that they just managed to burst down over and over, and that's rough for our team.
Yeah, all three games, all three times it was BloodX going down there. I really did like the respec at the end. I think that the Dark Bargain and playing without Supremacy was smart, but at the same time, it's tough to deal with that. And now we are going to be able to get Sad Story here on the stage with Rachel. Rachel, take it away.
That wasn't a sad story at all. You guys seem pretty excited about this. Was it way better playing on the main stage?
It was indeed. Like, it felt really cool to play for a crowd. I got a bit annoyed though. I got reflected on my silence the first game. I think we could have landed the kill if my silence would have landed. And like last night, my silence got reflected 2 times as well, so it's a bit annoying. But it's fine. We played really well. And
Absolutely, you played wonderfully well. I did hear about that reflected silence last night. That was the talk of the town. But you're making it back here. You are 1 step closer to BlizzCon, 1 step closer to going to Anaheim. How does your team feel about that?
well, we have the hardest game in the entire world in front of us right now. If we win this, we have a really good chance. But it's a great team, and they play a strong comp against our comp. So
They were hoping that you would move on to play against them. So what do you think is the most difficult part of their composition for you guys to deal with?
it's like every 30 seconds they can do the exact same thing. So they can CC my Druid, CC my Mage, and just tunnel me to the ground. And I shouldn't survive. Maybe because we're on TR that they do a little bit of less damage, but it's still going to be really hard for us. We're thinking of swapping a comp maybe, but not sure.
All right, well, you'll have a couple minutes before that next match. You guys can talk that out. You guys at home, kick back for a second, get on Twitter, write to us at #RoadToBlizzCon. Tell us who you think is going to claim this final invitation to BlizzCon. Will it be Sad Story and his team playing with fire, or will it be Milktrup? We'll see soon enough. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more World of Warcraft.
All I need's a little love in my life. All I need's a little love in the dark. A little, but I'm hoping it might kickstart me and my broken heart. I need a little loving tonight. Hold me so I'm not falling apart. A little, but I'm hoping it might kickstart me and my broken heart. Yeah. Shotgun aimed at my heart, you got one. Tear me apart and then some. How do we call this love? Whoa, I try to run away, but your eyes tell me to stay. Oh, why do we call this love? Whoa, it seems like we've been losing control. Somebody tell me I'm not alone when I say all I need's a little love in my life. All I need's a little love in the dark. A little, but I'm hoping it might kickstart me and my broken heart. I need a little loving tonight. Hold me so I'm not falling apart. A little, but I'm hoping it might kickstart.
I cannot believe it! You and your mage deck are unstoppable! Ho ho ho!
What's up? We're back here at Dreamhack Stockholm. We don't have Rachel. We have someone almost as pretty. It's Conrad.
Thanks, man.
And he's with me, commentating today.
You stop it.
Oh, you.
Actually, don't stop. I love
Okay.
it. I love it.
That's all I had. Sorry.
Well.
But I am Azale, and I'm here with Conrad, guys. And we are on the road to BlizzCon. There's one more
Yes.
invite to give away, and we
Yes.
only have one more series to decide it. These are what? they're playing for, guys. It's the tickets to BlizzCon that are going to be given out to those players, as well as this awesome trophy here. So pretty sweet to have those kind of mementos, man. And not to mention,
it's actually so pretty.
Getting to go to BlizzCon is so much fun.
That's the prettiest award of them all. But yeah, so coming up, we're going to have Milktrup versus Playing with Fire.
Yeah.
And that's going to be really exciting. You know, these are two teams that they were in the losers bracket, and they have fought tooth and nail to get here because they want the last invitation. They want to be able to go to BlizzCon, and they've had some extremely exciting games, really great play. We still haven't had a 3-2, but every series is still so close. It's ridiculous. It's crazy.
I mean, you know, we heard Sad Story talking a little bit about talking about maybe bringing a counter comp or something else. You know, not feeling too confident against this RMD from Milktrup, and you know, we already saw Milktrup take down one RMD. We heard, you know, Sad Story saying that they were not confident against them. Do you think we'll see some sort of a comp swap? What are you expecting?
You know, it's possible. It's definitely possible. I mean, if you know for sure that you're probably going. No, for sure, probably. If you're probably going to lose running your main setup, you might want to swap it up. I know yesterday I was saying play with what you're used to practicing, but if they've practiced against each other, if they're practice partners, and they're losing constantly and they have like a 10% win rate, you don't really want to play into that. You want to swap up your comp. You want to try something different. Maybe you're going to play Frost Mage. Maybe you're going to play Elemental and a Holy Priest.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely don't want to just throw away a series like just because you're being too stubborn. There is a time and a place to do that counter comp, to know that, okay, guys, we just can't win. We can't beat these guys with this comp. You know, they're too good at playing against it. This may be that time. You know, we already saw them deal with one team very, very well. I mean, you know, Milktrup won their previous series 3-1. The only game that they lost, I think, was more of them losing it than their opponents winning it. You know what I mean? Like it was some pretty big mistakes from them, and they looked really good in that series besides that. And now, going forward, fighting the same comp again, yes, it is a Fire Mage instead of a Frost Mage, but I'm not sure that really makes that big of a difference in this specific matchup. So, I mean, they know that they're in for what's going to be something that is a very, very tough matchup, and maybe the best chance that they have is going to be just trying to surprise their opponents, just trying to come up with something that they're not prepared for. You know, we even heard Morgan talking about how they wanted to play this team because they've now had the warm-up against it as well. So, you know, they know exactly what they want to do against it. They just beat someone playing the same comp. It's kind of like the stars are aligning for them to get that last BlizzCon invite, unless Playing with Fire can come up with something fast.
Yeah, indeed. And, you know, they do want that road to BlizzCon. Hashtag road to BlizzCon, guys. Make sure you use our social media, tweet at us, stuff like that. We'd love to hear your opinions. But it's going to be the last BlizzCon for Mr. Pandaria because Warlords of Draenor is coming now.
Warlords of Draenor.
And that is going to be sick. I know lots of people, you know, sometimes they take breaks after they clear the expansion or whatnot, but everybody always resubscribes and gets a new expansion. It's just always a great time.
It's always popping at the start of a new expansion, dude.
Yeah, it is. People love it. They get to talk to their friends again that haven't really played since, you know, for whatever reason why they stopped. Maybe they got busy with school or something, but they always come back for the expansion. So
everyone always comes back.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
It's World of Warcraft. It's been this game.
Like 10 years, man.
Yeah, it's been running for such a long time, and there's still such a large subscriber base.
It's crazy thinking back about like how much my life has changed and stuff since I started playing World of Warcraft. It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, when you're like 10 years ago where you were and you're playing a game, and then you look now and it's like you're still playing it, and like how different life is and like all the things that have happened as a result of it. It's pretty insane.
You know, one thing that hasn't changed though?
What?
Still fun.
Yeah, there you go, man. There you
Go.
go.
That's consistent.
That was a good one.
Death, taxes, wow, still fun.
World of Warcraft subscriptions. But yeah, so I mean, it should be a pretty fun series. We're just waiting for you know, for Milktrup to set up. You know, they obviously just moved on stage, so they need you know, a couple of minutes to get their computers up there and make sure everything's working. You don't want to have any macros messed up or mouse and mill functioning or anything like that for a series that's this important.
It's obviously very important because, you know, everyone plays a specific way. Like maybe you have your character frames where it's right here and right here, but the guy who was playing before you has it right here and right here. So you really just want to make sure everything's perfect. I know I get messed up if I played in one tournament where add-ons weren't allowed, and that was pretty rough because I no longer was able to have my trinket macros or whatever to show me when people trinketed. And so I wanted to bring the arena frames a little bit closer to the center, sort of have all health bars in the center-ish. That helped me play. Didn't really help me out in the tournament. But, so that's what these guys are doing. As you can see, like this guy right there, that is our fire mage. He is the man of fire. He is the volcano himself.
He's Volkazar of Europe.
Yeah, the Volkazar of Europe.
Yep. But yeah, no, it's definitely true. A lot of people like to make some modifications and stuff to how they do things when they do start playing without mods, and it can be pretty helpful. I've always liked to kind of customize my combat log. And that's something that I always did was I never played even with interrupt bar or anything like that, even when I wasn't doing tournaments, because I always just felt like it was better to be prepared for a tournament. So never get used to that add-on. And one of the ways I got around that was I had my combat log customized so that I could only see like what abilities were being used, not numbers and stuff like that. So so I would just read my combat log while I'm playing, so you can see when CS is used, when kicks are used, when all these different things are being used.
Yeah, you can also
keep track of it that way.
You can customize it in a way so it doesn't say, you dodged an attack or you take 50 damage. You only have the important ability showing up, like the kick and the counter spell and kidney shots, stuff like that.
Well, I mean, it's you can't do it just that specific, at least not without modding, but you can get it down to like fireball, ice lance, kick, all that stuff. It's just only abilities being used. Which is how I had it, and things like that can be pretty helpful. But yeah, and I mean, there's also things that you are allowed to use, like you're allowed to use non-automated scripts. So you can do things like having a timer for CS. When you press the macro, it starts a countdown on the in-game stopwatch till when counterspell will be active again. And you can have each player on your team tracking a different cooldown. That's something that my teams would do. We'd have, if you're playing against something in, say, Cloak of Shadows is an extremely important cooldown in that matchup, or Ice Block or AMS or whatever it is, you just set the timer to that cooldown, and then one person's tracking that, another person can be tracking another cooldown, whether it's PvP trinket or whatever, so you can all be tracking different cooldowns and stuff, and that's something that can be pretty useful.
Yeah, and that also means that you have to have good communication with your team, obviously, because if one guy is tracking Cloak, another guy's tracking trinkets, another guy's tracking interrupts, you want to be able to communicate that, and that's why it's so important and so shocking that one of our teams made it through despite having a sub. They weren't as used to playing with that guy, and they still managed to make it through.
Yeah, well, sometimes things just click, man. Sometimes it is just kind of meant to be. You can play with someone, and it works right from the start. When people have
things just cluck too. Because it was laser chicken.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll give you that.
Thank you.
I'll give you a smile.
Thanks.
No, not a chuckle or a laugh though.
It's okay.
But I think these guys are looking like they are pretty ready. You can see all their keyboards, everything are plugged in. They got their headsets on. The admins are with them there. Looking at a Doomson's screen. That is, they're looking at Doomson's screen on the right. So maybe he's having some sort of issue or something that he wants to get figured out first. But I'm sure he's going to be ready to go here pretty soon. And then when we will be getting this final series of the tournament underway, guys, this has been the World of Warcraft World Championship Europe here at Dreamhack Stockholm, and we are on the road to BlizzCon. You can check it out on Twitter, #Road to BlizzCon, to get involved in the discussion there and see what everyone else is tweeting about it as well. And it's #Road to BlizzCon for all the games, for StarCraft and for Hearthstone and for WoW. So you can get involved on that, and you can see updates about the games, people talking about them, who they think's going to win, things like that. So it's definitely a lot of fun.
And this is the game, by the way. This is the game to decide who gets the final invitation. The final 3 tickets. One for each member, obviously. So keep that in mind, guys. Let us know. Who do you think's going to win? Who do you think's going to lose? Who do you think's going to be happy? Who do you think's going to be sad, unfortunately?
Yep. So the game should be coming up here pretty shortly. It will be in the Grand Arena starting it off as always. It's going to be a best of 5, guys, whole way through the tournament. The Grand Arena, always that starting map, as it is just kind of considered the most neutral of all the maps. It's the one that most people would say neither team really has a big advantage. So that's always just kind of been traditionally the best way to do it. And I really like the kind of more modern age map system for tournaments. You know, it used to be, I think, a lot worse when it was just
randomized
maps. You know,
I didn't like that.
You could get the same map multiple times in a row. You could get the worst map for your team 3 times in a row. You could get the best map for your team 3 times in a row. And a series could be decided off that. So I like losers pick format a lot more. I like starting on the grand, and I think it's kind of nice to see that that evolution.
Yeah, me too. I mean, just like all things, Blizzard, they're learning. They know.
Yep.
They've listened to a lot of feedback, which
learning,
I really
man.
like.
Yep.
Yeah, you do. Always got to be a student.
Yep. For
I seem
sure.
to really like that quote. I don't know why.
Okay, well, there you go. It's not a bad one. But, guys, I mean, okay, looking back, when we talked about on the first day, it was about halfway through the first day, you asked me, you know, what was your favorite game so far? And at that point, you said it was that 2v3 comeback. Is that still your favorite game from the tournament?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was sick, man. You had already leaned back in your chair and you were trying to look pretty for the camera again. And I was like, they might actually land a kill here. And you're like,
usually
I don't know.
sit up. You actually sit up in my chair to look pretty for the camera. I don't really lean back.
You like do your hair a little bit, you adjust your glasses, you fix your coat.
Yep. I do it all for you guys to look pretty for everyone at home. It's all for you. But anyway, sad story. Rind and Livin going to be playing with fire here in this final series. No comp change yet from them. We'll see if they decide to mix it up moving forward, or maybe that was just kind of some mind games messing around with Doomsday Pry and Mokrin, trying to give them something to think about, knowing that they would be listening to that interview.
Oh, yeah.
But on the other side of things, it's going to be Melktrup, Doomsday playing the Resto Druid, Pry on that Subtlety Rogue, and Mokrin playing the Frost Mage. It's Livin on the Fire Mage, Rind on the Restoration Druid, and Sad Story playing the Shadow Priest.
Yeah. I really like the 3-2-1 pictures, by the way. That's some really cool art. Just saying. So you can see Morgan, he is in that invisibility. We also have Pry sitting in stealth. You know, scary thing about RMD is that there's absolutely no one visible on the enemy team. So they can typically get a pretty scary opener. This tournament, they haven't gotten that many great openers, but when they do, the game seems to end almost instantaneously.
And there's that Invis ending. They're going to get the sap out onto him. They're going to be looking for the opener onto Sad Story. Here comes Pry. He's pushing forward, still waiting as there was that's Invis coming out from this Sad Story. So able to delay the opener a little bit. Now as a result, they're going to open up on Livin. Livin has to trinket that immediately and get out of there. Rind was put into the deep freeze. Shadow Blades was popped instantly there by Pry on his trinket proc. Not going to get too much, though, from that Shadow Blades, honestly, besides the trinket. Unless they can get something done here onto Sad Story. The fear does come out, though. Deep freeze onto Pry. They're going hard onto him. We do see the Iron Bark already up for that. Mokrin was into the Cyclone. Doomsday was disarmed there by Sad Story, and they really want to try to get the pressure rolling early on.
Yeah, Trinket was used. Pry still has his available. Doomsday has his available as well. Livin taking a little bit of damage. There is a Shroom down, so if they need to pop it, they will be able to. Ring of Frost going down. Looks like Livin's taking so much damage, though, down to about 200,000 HP. Trying to kite away. Temporal Shield is up as well. Iron Bark on him. He's going to blink now as soon as he thought the Rogue was going to be able to catch back up.
That MD was actually so clutch. He got the MD off in the split second before he got cloned. That got Rind out of that ring. That kept Livin alive and kept Rind with his trinket, who has now popped his Heart of the Wild. He's going to be trying to get that extra healing out here, and it looks like Pry just going to be pulling back. Not going to have his cloak for about 20 more seconds. He did use that, after that first little round of damage came in on him. But here comes the opener on Livin once again. Garrote followed by the cheap shot. Big damage coming on him. He's going to have to block immediately as Rind is in the polymorph, and he doesn't feel like giving up his trinket this early on. So once again, prioritizing the trinket of Rind over that ice block there from Livin. Livin going to be popping the blazing speed, trying to get away. Sad was put into the silence out of that cheap shot probably. He was in a sap, did get sheep. Now they're going to pull back. And so far, things are looking really good for this RMD. Livin without the block. Rind does still have his trinket. He's getting a little bit more aggressive, though, pushing forward, trying to get some CC out. The big triple fear did come out. Pry is taking a lot of damage here. He could be going down. He's going to have to trinket. The cloak comes out as well, as Doomsday was silenced up there. So big cooldowns forced out from Pry. We'll see if they can get back to him and capitalize on the fact that he has no cloak. The re-stealth, though, going to come in.
Yeah, Trinket Cloak is always scary to pop, but look at Livin. Livin's taking so much damage right here. Down about half HP, a life grip away. Down 200k now. He has to pop his trinket. He has to ice block, actually. Wow, that was some very scary burst coming in from our RMD team. Just incredible pressure coming out. Sad gets put into a half poly. He's going to get out of it now. Fireball being put against this mage. I think it would be pretty important to be able to spell steal the Pyroblast proc, so I'd like to see them clean Livin of all of his buffs.
Yeah, definitely something that can be really annoying to deal with as a fire mage, having those stolen, or even, you know, having your palm stolen, something like that can be pretty devastating. Doomson in the sheep, but Pry just sitting in stealth right now. There's the immediate blazing speed, the growth, the cheap shot comes out, there's the smoke bomb going down. Big cooldowns here coming out from Pry. He's trying to finish off Livin. We'll see if he's going to be able to do it. Livin doing a good job so far. There's the ring onto Rind. He's not able to get out of that, but Livin really didn't take much of any damage, to be honest, there. Pry is going to be pulling back once again. He's getting blizzarded on. They don't want to let him have those free restelts if they can help it, and he's going to decide to just give up on the restelt for now. He's going to run across the map, just trying to kite away there. Maybe going to be able to get a dispel and get that restelt now. And Shadow Blades, as you can see, coming up in 2 seconds. That may be what they're going to try to go for the kill with as Trix does come up. Livin is probably going to be the target still. He probably does not have another Ice Block, as he has already gone through 2, and I don't think he's had time to get that third back up.
You know, I really feel like they're going to save this opener with the Shadow Blades for when they actually have Dance available. That's what I like to see. You know, it's really just all about the burst. Morgan does put into a counterspell right here. Pry going to open up onto Sad. Sad taking a decent amount of damage right now. He's at about 500k HP. There's a Shadow Blades opener. Dance is up seconds. Now our Rogue is going to switch onto Livin. Livin has popped his Alter Time, though, so he's not going to take a lot of damage. The kidney shot actually, I believe, or no, it was a cheap shot went in right before the Alter Time, so a little bit of a mistake. No restealth available for Pry. A little bit unfortunate for him. He's just trying to get away, trying to get that restealth. He is going to try and get another big opener because the opener is what is extremely important. Doomson put into a full fear. Morgan at inside of a counterspell at about half HP. He has to Ice Block, actually. Wow.
I don't know if he actually did have the Ice Block there, to be honest with you.
You're
but
right.
He is going to decide to use it. Rind doesn't have a trinket available, but he has no Symbiosis Ice Block. He had to use that in the last exchange. Morgan taking a fair bit of damage here himself. Down to about half HP, going to pop the Alter Time. Getting that burst out over onto Sad. Sad down pretty low here. Does still have the Disperse available. He's low on mana. There's the MCS on a Rind. That's followed up by the Blind. Will he decide to trinket it? No, he's going to try to hold on to it. As Morgan may go down 60k HP. Doomson needs to top him back off. He's down to 70k once again. Nice offensive clone. Doomson just triggered something. I don't even know what it was.
Silence.
It was the silence, and he gets NS hibernated. What a big play there by Rind. And the clone and the fear come out as well. They're going to be overlapped, but Morgan still sitting so low. Pry doing his best to try to peel with the dance. Will Morgan be going down here? He sat through the full block. There's the MCS over onto Doomson. The Water Ellie is going to be resummoned here. Cenarian Ward back up. It looks like he is actually going to survive.
Oh my goodness. Well, he's not out of the woods yet. There is a deep freeze going off onto our Doomson, but you can see Morgan, he is at about 80% HP, trying to kite away. Dragon's Breath does go out onto him. Livin, he is taking a decent amount of damage. He's in the middle of the arena. He's at about half health now. Morgan taking a lot of damage. There's a fear going out onto Pry. There's a counterspell onto Morgan. Pry still sitting inside of that Cyclone. Cyclone goes out onto Doomson. Morgan at about 1/3 HP. Could he possibly go down here? Ring of Frost is down. He's trying to kite away, trying to do as much damage as he can as well. Living at about 80% HP.
Yeah, and he is going to be going with that blazing speed. Living at about half HP. Pry in the deep freeze though. He's down to 100k. He's going to have to trinket. He's going to have to cloak as well. Getting pretty low there is Pry. He's taking a lot of damage, and they are getting pressure back onto them. And you know, Morkran was so close to going down there. Pry has been so close to going down a couple times, and it seems like, you know, a little bit of a reinvigorated playing with fire team. They're the ones that seem to be taking the advantages here later in the game. And Morkran now once again going to be the target. Sad though, going to be going into the cheap shot, into the kidney now. Doomson is sheeped up. Pry is into a fear right now. It's actually a triple fear there from Sad Story. What can they get set up with this? It could be trouble for Pry. There's the devouring play coming out on Pry. He's gonna have to smoke bomb defensively. Silence onto Doomson, and now comes Pry out of that. He's down to 150k, 100k HP, 90k, 80k. He's trying desperately to get away. There's the clone still on Doomson, and Pry is gonna go down. The blind comes out onto Sad Story, but it is too little, too late. And wow, playing with fire, going to take game number 1 there against a team that they were really afraid to go up against.
Yeah, what an intense game, man. You know, I wasn't expecting this. I actually thought our RMD team was going to be able to get the kill. They were looking forward to fighting this team. They had already fought the Frost Mage variation of it, and now they were like, yeah, we'll take the Fire Mage. We'll play with fire. And the next thing you know, they're going to take the first loss in this series.
Yeah, we do have to remember though that, you know, they did just beat another Shatter Play. They lost the first one in that one as well.
That's true.
And you know, I have to
give
say,
them hope.
You know, Doomson looking a little bit frustrated there. As he's talking. You know, things getting a little bit animated.
Ooh.
But you know,
feisty.
Morkran
mocking
really did. you know, kind of waste his block. Honestly, I think at that
I
one
think
point,
you're right.
you know, it was a bit of an unneeded block, and I felt like that kind of started the spiral of events that led to them losing. You know, they got so far behind there. It cost him his second block. He kited around for so long, barely living. You know, a lot of defensive cooldowns had to come out during that time, and then the swap over onto Pry was very good as well. And it felt like, to me, early in the game, the RMD was constantly forcing out blocks. You know, they got both the blocks from Living really fast. They got a disperse from Sad Story as well. They were getting through so many defensive cooldowns from their opponents. But then as the game went on, I don't know if things just started like falling apart. They weren't on the same page. But it seemed like for the last, say, like 4 or 5 minutes of the game, they didn't do anything. They didn't force it didn't seem like they forced anything at all.
Yeah, you're right. The pressure kind of gave up. There wasn't much pressure at all.
Yeah.
No gravity.
No gravity, yeah. So regardless, it is going to be a 1-0 lead. It's going to be a 1-0 lead now for Playing with Fire. That means they are 2 wins away from that BlizzCon invite. That's what they are looking for. That's what both these teams are looking for. And having that first map advantage is always so important.
Yeah, this is the game, guys. This is the series. This is to
the final series of the tournament.
Yeah, the final series of the tournament. Who gets the final 3 tickets, the final 3 invitations to BlizzCon?
Yeah.
That's pretty intense, man.
It's really important, man.
There's so much
it's what these
riding on
guys have
this.
been practicing for, you know, like all year long. They practiced. They had to get a certain ladder rating. Once you achieve that ladder rating, you could be invited to arena tournament realm. On that arena tournament realm, there was actually, you know, brackets that they had to qualify through. The top 8 teams then got invited to this event, and now out of these top 8 teams, we've gone all the way through the brackets. This is the very last 2 teams remaining. Only 1 team is going to get that last invite to BlizzCon. 2 teams have already received theirs. This is the final one available for the European teams, and getting that means you're one of, you know, the very best teams in all of Europe.
Yes, this is the hashtag Road to BlizzCon. 2 teams meet at the end of the road. Only 3 players will be able to cross this bridge.
Yep. All right, so it is going to be Tiger's Peak as the choice here for Doomson, Pry, and Morkren, and that is a pretty solid choice. We've seen Tiger's Peak a fair bit throughout this tournament. I have to say, I think we've actually seen Blades the least. I think we've only seen like 1 or 2 games of Blades the whole tournament.
People don't want to mess with it, man. It's scary. There's a lot more factors on Blade's Edge than other arenas.
Surprising to me, though, like with a lot of LSDs and stuff, no one seems to be really picking it. But anyway, it is Tiger's Peak, guys. That is the choice here for Doomson, Pry, and Morkren. It's going to be Morkren Law playing the Frost Mage. It's going to be Doomson on the Restoration Druid. Pry playing that Subtlety Rogue. Rind going to be the Restoration Druid for his team, along with Sad Story playing the Shadow Priest, and Livin on the Fire Mage.
Brilliant mount set for these guys, I have to say. Big fan of the Swift Spectral Tiger. Very nice choice. You can also see the, I believe that's
like
from
an ostrich or something. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I think it's for
That's dope.
Easter. I think you get it for Easter.
That thing is really cool, dude.
I have it. I know.
You know what's actually the coolest though is the little chicken. The chicken is actually
chicken mount.
Yeah, the chicken mount's really cool.
Yeah.
But anyway,
you could sub that in for your LSD team and win.
There you go, man. So Doomson going to be selfed up along with Morkren and the Invis. Pry going to be popping his camo as the Invis does expire here for Morkren, and there it does go down. That's going to mean that Livin is going to be the first one out of Invis. You know, he's going to have to be the one to be available to be sapped, and this RMD gets the advantage. Having that kind of double stealth and the AoE team stealth, it allows them to get these openers that are just so devastating sometimes. And now in does come that sap. We are going to see the Spectral guys coming out from Sad Story, but it means they're just going to open right up onto Livin. We'll see if the Shadow Blades is going to come down immediately this time around. Not just yet, but Doomson is going to be looking for that clone. He's going to get it over onto Sad Story. We'll see if Rind is going to be CC'd up at all. Sad Story once again put into the Cheap Shot. The NS clone, or actually just an NS heal, I think does come out there from Rind. Trinket going to be used by Morkren. Rind put into the Palm Sheep. Pry now going to be sheeped up as well. Livin taking some damage, but it looks like he's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Oh, a nice ring, though, actually catching a couple members there. And Rind is going to have a lot of healing to do here on Livin. Cenarian Ward and Ironbark are up there. Sad Story going to be put into the Sheep. Doomson and Rind both still have their trinkets available. Livin taking a lot of damage, though. Going to throwing out that Dragon's Breath defensively, trying to get the Frost off, not able to do it. The Ursox actually popped there by Rin. I think that was an accident. Heart of the Wild going to come out from him as well. He's into the deep freeze, still has his trinket. Livin may have to block here though. Very, very low, needs to use that block. He is going to do it. The MCS comes in. Risky play there from Livin. He is going to be able to survive though. Now the Frost shot coming out on a Pry. They're looking to look to turn things around. Deep freeze comes out. Those pyros being spammed out. And the cloak is going to have to be used as Doomson gets put into silence. Pry down at 180k HP. Bash onto Doomson there from Rin. Rin getting aggressive. We see the blind over onto Rin. He's not going to trigger this just yet. Doomson feared off. Pry is looking like he could be the target still. Did catch the Iron Bark. They're going to be popping the Shadow Blades though. They're going to look to try to get a kill early here onto Livin. Can they get back to him? Here comes Pry. Shadow Blade's still active. Rin going to have to trinket. The Heart of the Wild NS does go up with the trinket proc as well. A massive heal, and that is going to trigger Pry to back off.
Yeah, Pry caught inside of that Cyclone now at about 75% HP. He's going to try and go for a re-stealth, but really nice job. He does get rooted. He does get that Fairy Fire on him. I really like it when I see Druids making sure that Rogues always have the Fairy Fire debuff. Polymorph goes out onto Doomson. Cyclone goes out onto Morkan. This is not looking good. It is a 3v1 situation, but Pry is doing a great job of just pillaring the whole time. Livin trying to get some damage onto Morkan now. He's inside of that Deep Freeze. There's a Dragon's Breath going out outside of that. Shadow Dance is being used. Looks like it might be used to peel. Deep Freeze goes out onto Rin. Can they get some offensive pressure going here? Pry in a little bit of trouble. He's still just pillaring the whole time. He doesn't want to take any damage. He does have Iron Bark on himself
too, though, and his cloak is now back up, so he should be out of the woods for now. He's going to be opening up here, looking for the damage onto Sad Story. Sad Story though does get the Iron Bark immediately from Rin, who's doing a great job keeping him topped off, and the clone will land onto Pry. Doomson now, he's just going to be trying to heal Pry back up out of that. He's sitting very far back, going to get silenced up though. We'll see what they're going to go for. They're going to be going through the damage on Pry. The Trinket Cloak has to come out, but Livin may go down here. 70k HP. The Ice Lance is flying in as he gets the Ice Block off there, and Cloak, was used. So was Trinket from Pry. Doomson has his Trinket back though. That is key. They're going to be looking for the kill on Livin, but equally so, playing with fire, going to be looking to finish off Pry here. And this is a bit of a repeat from game one. We have to remember both of Livin's blocks forced early in that game as well, but then the RMD started to falter. They lost control of the game. They lost their pressure, and we'll see if it's going to be a repeat of that.